stimulating discussion, and I'll come back just at the very end to say a few more words. Thank you very much.
Hello and welcome everyone. I'm delighted that we've managed to drag you in off the kind of thrumming dance floor of outside. We'll only keep you for about half an hour or so. I should say, by the way, if anyone, you might be poised at the edge in case you want to go out and get another beer, but there are 3 or 4 seats in the front if anyone wants to come and sit down. So yeah, we're delighted to be here, mostly in celebration of your fantastic new campus, and also in celebration, as Anne said, of the new monograph which just came out last month on Mark and his work. And I suppose the first thing I wanted to ask you, Mark, is that actually for me, even though I've known you for a little while and known your work for a lot longer, actually seeing all of your work put into one place at one time made me realise, well, exactly what the author Martin Herbert says very early on in the book, which is just quite the range of projects that you've worked on in the last 20 or 25 years. I mean, Anne mentioned some of them there, including the TARDIS and Ecce Homo, but just to give you a slight flavour for those who, some of you will know Mark's work well, and even if you don't, this gives something of a flavour. You've taken a photograph of yourself dressed up in drag as a suffragette jockey. You've done a nighttime performance dressed as a bear in the Berlin Museum, which we'll see some images of a little bit later. You have exhibited the gushing hose pipe, which was sticking through the front window of a gallery. You've made a series of technically brilliant oil paintings of horses and jockeys' silks. You have most recently marked hundreds, thousands of bricks across London, which some of you may have spotted, with Mark's kind of tag, if you like, which is in fact something that translated into the book's jacket design. So if you've seen something that looks like that on the brick in London, this is the man who's responsible. I mean, that just gives a very quick flavour of the range of projects, and I suppose it makes me ask the question, what made some Mark Wallinger artwork in a way? I mean, it's a big question to start off, but what do you see, I suppose, in a way, drawing together a lot of that practice, if anything, or is it?
It's quite odd because as an artist, you follow your nose. That's kind of what you do, and so in a way, I mean, I knew I had a certain set of concerns early on, and that those could be best explored after a while through media other than painting. I mean, I went to Chelsea Art School where there was a painting department and a sculpture department, and really not much more than that. And so those old kind of definitions are still there, but there was nothing doing in the painting department that really spoke to the modern world. I remember going to the library and leafing through a copy of Art Forum, and there was a what's his name? Broken Plate Man way back. There was a Schnabel painting in memoriam of Ian Curtis, and I remember thinking that can't be the Ian Curtis enjoyed the vision. There was this kind of disconnect. Do you know what I mean? There was a kind of disconnect between the world of painting and art schools at that time and life as it was lived and living in South London. And so actually, until I was at Goldsmiths and on the MA course there was actually no way in which I could put together anything that made any sense of the world in any proper way. And by that point, it also kind of made clear that certain things to do with painting different media represented ways of exploring other areas and things that I was interested in, which seemed to be precluded by this rather prescriptive notion of art as it applied in art schools at that point. So I'm incredibly grateful for Goldsmiths for that, and then I suppose to think that you can have the freedom to use those different media. I mean, I suppose that's a kind of temperamental thing, but it was only really when I was asked to curate a show for Hayward Touring Shows that I took a very self-conscious view back through my career, because I thought, well, if I have a theme, then I have to identify what it is as something to do with my own work. So it was only then that I started identifying things to do with thresholds and borders.
That was a show probably many of you saw called The Russian Linesman, which toured around the UK but also came to the Haywood, when, 4 years ago or something?
It was,
Something
yeah,
like that.
in 2008.
Yeah. So that was the first time you actually looked back at your body.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of, I was sort of obviously aware of where I was going, and after a while, you know, if you've been making work that has had a certain amount of attention for a certain amount of time, then you have to have some relationship with that as well. So you can't, you know, it becomes an interesting dialogue with your own past, hopefully. It's not too stultified, but at the same time, yeah, I think there's always the urge to make something new or send it in a new direction.
Yeah, I mean, we've got up in front of us here, and actually maybe I can see the next one. I mean, this is an interesting way to start in a way, and I showed you the slightly earlier work before that. I mean, you were very much a painter at the beginning of your career, I suppose, and at art school, essentially. And this is a series, well, which maybe you could say a little bit about, The Capital, which was a series of 7, as you can see, very realistic paintings of what seemed to be homeless people.
Yeah, I mean, there's various works I made during Thatcher's reign, so to speak. But I mean, towards the end of it, there were particularly stupid bit of legislation that cut off benefits to children, from 16 to 18-year-olds who weren't living at home. So suddenly there were a lot of people living on the streets. There were other people living on the streets for various other reasons as well. But as a result of policies, but they were always treated as, I mean, there was a sort of journalism that this subject matter attracted. There was inevitably kind of black and white, grainy pieces about people living on the street. They only ever had their first names, and in a way, they were doing them a bigger disservice almost than the Thatcher and the social services, because they were, in a way, there was a sort of, well, it was Darwinian, really, yeah, in that there was some sense that somehow they deserved it. And so this was a kind of attempt to turn the language around and use sort of language of sort of swagger portraiture or boardroom. Yeah, the oil portrait is something significant for people who don't have that, who are disenfranchised and on the street. But by the same token, I knew that I couldn't do that to a real homeless person, and because it was really about a battle for representation that I could use friends and colleagues masquerading as homeless. So that was,
I was going to say, I know it's a bit hard, especially with the door opening and closing. You guys mostly hear most of what we're saying. We don't need to shout, okay, good.
Can we get the door locked?
We've been quite kind of freeform in the spirit of the night, instead of saying, okay, if people do want to go in and out. So we'll just try and project our voices. But I suppose, I mean, this, among other works that we're going to see, and there's only a selection that I picked out here from the book, to me, still, this is something that obviously is an incredibly huge topical issue now, as in fact is, I think, the next slide, which we might look at, which is ostensibly a rather hilarious comic and quite slight work. But I mean, a lot of these works from 20 odd years ago, to me, still seem incredibly sort of topical and charged now, actually. Maybe you can say a little something about this
I mean, I don't know
which actually is the next slide as well.
Yeah, this is
Quite disturbing, I mean, very slight.
1988. Passport contrivers. I'm showing this in a museum show in Holland at the moment, so I kind of know this was a significant work at the time. And it was born out of, in a way, a pretty bad experience as well, where I had my head kicked in by the BNP, basically, long story short. And there's a couple of works that sort of came about as a result of that, and this one was really, in a way, trying to make visual the kind of the hateful racial epithets that one would apply to different racial stereotypes. So So I went in a passport booth and took these photographs and then just drew on them with felt tip pens, really. And I don't know. I mean, I hope it kind of.
Well, it's interesting that you see it as, I mean, it's an early work in some ways. As I said, it's quite slight and a quite quick idea, but you obviously still judge it.
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose there's words like deface that kind of comes up. There's something kind of violence to my own image here, which, I mean, I think perhaps the best of my work is where I feel a little endangered about what I'm doing, or that I'm crossing some sort of line. And this is quite an odd thing to do to one's self-image, I suppose. So that's.
That's interesting. Is that crossing usually a personal line of some sort, or it could be a projection?
Or just
crossing a sort of societal line.
Or just, feeling just a little bit unsafe or endangered about something, or there's a certain kind of ambiguity that comes to my work, which is to do with something teetering between one reading or something and another, or something that actually presents enough of the things to then kind of give to the viewer the responsibility for completion, or for which way they're going to jump, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me back to that question of what is a Mark Wallinger work, that to me there's always some sort of frisson there, there's some kind of slightly uncomfortable or unexpected kind of jarring, and very often of two things, quite often of many, many more as well, as we'll see. Now, I mean, we talked a bit about painting. One of your major subjects, which we'll move on to, Anna, is, which was a very major subject of yours for many, many years, was connected to horses and horse racing, which again is, to some extent, a slightly unexpected subject for contemporary artists working in the last decade or two. So tell us a bit about where the fascination came from, and what drove this big series of work.
I mean, I suppose horse racing was a private passion of mine, but after a while,
Is that what you've grown up around or knowing? Or you just got into
No, I just got it. No, it's one of those unaccountable things you get into when you're too young to know why. So, no one told me it was boring, so I kind of got into it.
Right.
And it's interesting for lots of reasons to do with society. So a lot of the work I was making in the 80s, I felt somehow, in a way, the racing world provided a kind of structure. There was a kind of, all the kind of class relations, the obsession with origins, those things could be flagged up here, but at the same time, there's a genuine awe and fascination for the beauty of these animals that we've had a large part in creating as well.
And a huge nature culture.
So there's that, and then there's the kind of fact that they were produced from 3 imported Arab standing around about 1700, and Sheikh Mohammed was busy trying to buy back the breed and build. So there's a sort of post-colonial thing going on as well. But it was
how much of that thinking, sorry to interrupt, but how much of that thinking comes for you after the event in a way? Because as you said, it was I don't know if you meant childhood when you did that, but I mean it was a sort of youthful passion of yours. But presumably at that stage you weren't thinking about Arabian horse studs and the geopolitics of, I don't know.
No, but I was kind of aware of those things, and I think the sort of racing works were probably a more self-conscious episode in my career, in which I could see a way within lots of strands to do with racing that I could deal with identity and nationality and class and lots of other things that I've been dealing with in the 80s, but this provided a sort of a framework, so yeah.
And it culminated, this sort of series, this kind of massive interest in yours through your work in horses and horse riding, the whole culture, in the actual purchase of a horse who you named a real work of art.
Yeah.
I know didn't have a long and fabulously sort of fabled career.
Well,
But still, well, tell us a little bit about that, if it's not too much of a...
yeah, no, not at all. No. I mean, I wanted to get behind the scenes of racing, and I wrote some letters to trainers at Newmarket and Sir Mark Prescott, answered by return of post, and we met up. And he's kind of old school, but kind of the best raconteur I've met. And once he decided I was bona fide, he gave me an hour and a half at disposition on racing, which I had to take that. Anyway, so we sent him off to sales in Ireland to buy a horse race, and basically I got together a syndicate of people and produced a little maquette that we sold to raise money for this horse. So you buy horses as yearlings, a year old at the sales, and that gives you your name at that point. And so
The idea was to actually,
yeah, it was to kind of extend, it was to try and extend that Duchampian thing of nominating something as an artwork, further into the real world perhaps, and every small town in Britain has a charity shop and a bookmaking career. Those are the givens, and so the idea was that people might start following her career, or they could at least have access to TVs and bookmakers. So we were unlucky. She got injured in the spring, and then she got injured after her race in Bath. But she did then race the following season in Germany, still in white colours, and won. And had many foals after that. So there was a happy. Yeah.
That's good to know. One thing I wanted to ask you about, and I suppose it does relate to this, is to do with the titles of your work, because it's been said very often that you're very much a sort of wordsmith, and that words and language are very important to you in your work. I mean, this horse, as I said, was called a real work of art, and was indeed a real work of art in that Duchampian tradition. But things like the horse paintings called race, class, sex, which other ones did I scribble down? I mean, you had early works with things like National Trust, State Britain, which lots of people here would have seen, which was the big installation of the recreation of Brian Hawes' political protest in Parliament Square, which Mark Wallinger Turner Prize. Other works called Threshold of the Kingdom, Seeing is Believing. I mean, there seems to be a lot of sort of layering and quite poetic intent in a way in your titling of works. I just wonder if you can say a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is important. I mean, it's well reported that my thesis at college was on James Joyce's Ulysses, and I've tried to write poetry very badly down the years. So language in all its forms is important to me, and titles as well. So that the title.
And at what point in a work does the title tend to come?
It can come right at the beginning, and if it doesn't look like it's coming at all, then the work probably disappears, kind of thing.
Really?
So I think.
So wow, actually, language is then incredible.
So I think it's kind of I think so. Yeah.
The funny thing, it connects a little bit to my world, because in the book world, interestingly, if the title of a book doesn't come to you easily or readily, and after many, many, many months of working on a book, it still doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a great sign. I mean, you can still salvage it, but actually having the right naming mechanism for a thing, whether it's a work of art or a book or whatever it is pretty essential, actually, I always find, to the conceptualisation of any project. But it's interesting you say that. I've shown some slides here of Ecce Homo, which, again, many of you would have seen, which was the very first, I'd forgotten, but it was the first of the 4th Pen commissions in Trafalgar Square, which is obviously there for the millennium. And again, I mean, a rather poetic work, because of course this was the life-size cast of Christ sort of awaiting judgment, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, this was, back then, the notion was that there would be 3 proposals selected for the plinth, and one of them became a permanent fixture in the square. So things changed after that. But I always feel I should say that because that was the intent with which this was made.
Do you feel you would have done something quite different had you known it was a temporary project?
Well, I don't, that's hypothetical, but I mean, but back then that was, and so, and yeah, this idea was pretty much instant, I must admit, and I think it was because we were approaching the millennium and everyone was a little bit queasy about mentioning the fact that it was about 2,000 years since the birth of Christ, and we had this empty dome being built in Greenwich, and no one could kind of go near it. So it was a very odd kind of thing. It was like watching the knobs go over on a milometer or something, and they mentioned Christ, really. So, and I thought, well, Trafalgar Square, that's the place of the crowd, of the mob. It's kind of where Charles I was executed. It's, and so it kind of, it just came to me that, and especially with the recent history of the former Yugoslavia and our kind of other impotent reactions to that, which was a kind of, in a way, religious war that we didn't understand. That I was thinking, well, if Christ was anything, he was a religious leader in an occupied land. If he was sent out before the mob, and then that's us in the square, would be condemned. So, and then the life-size thing, that seems to be quite an easy decision against the bronzes in the square. And so, yeah, it was like it sort of fell into place, but then actually, really stupid things happened, like the letter saying that I was going to be the first on the plinth. Didn't get to me until 9 months later, and that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Not quite smooth.
No.
Well, I should say with many public commissions, and one of the lovely things that we have managed to include in the book is a lot of Mark's unrealised projects as well, which is quite a brave thing to expose in a way, because these are, to some extent, could be seen as the failures, the things that you pitch forward and you get for one reason or another, but actually they're also an amazingly inventive resource of, ideas that you had at a particular moment, which then into your practice in different ways. And back to the word thing, there's lots of your writings in the book as well, which is something else that we were very keen to include.
Yeah, obviously since this work, but I think it's increasingly what's happened to artists that's kind of interesting in public art or the public realm, and the way that's unfolded is kind of, I don't know, the way it's unfolded. It means there's quite a lot of competition, commissions, so artists are kind of pitching a bit like architects for these things, and and I'd have to say not many of these things got made down the next decade for one reason or another, but and I've probably kind of had my last, I don't think I'll throw my hat into the ring unless I'm expressly asked now, but it is, that's been an interesting process, and I think there's still a proper debate to be had about that public realm. I think we're actually still rather I don't know. I think people could be braver about what public spaces and what the public would like to see and to tolerate something really radical. We're very close by St Pancras, and we know how wrong that is. So
public sculpture.
So So I think I think at a certain point, the public doesn't ask for public art, so the consultation process becomes slightly surreal. So I don't know how one.
But I suppose increasingly it is also part of being a successful contemporary artist today, because as you say, it was interesting you said that there's a sort of architectural level of scale involved, but actually there is a physical architecture very often to adorn buildings or sites or campuses or new art galleries or whatever else it is. How much of that is a sort of inevitable factor of being a pretty successful artist these days? Or do you think actually all of that can be avoided? And
I think no. You don't have to. It's like what becomes difficult is that there's always, in my experience, that there are well-meaning arts organisations, and they've been approached by someone with some money to make this thing, and in the end, the purity of the motive behind the money is actually greater than the individual proposal of the artist.
I only really very quickly want to talk about Sleeper, partly because I don't know, it's still such an evocative work, but also because I loved your description that you said it was like wearing a sofa, which sort of just always sounded deeply uncomfortable. So this was Mark's performance project in the Neue National Gallery in Berlin when you were living there, which is a series of about a week of nights.
It was 10 nights.
10 nights where you sort of took residence as a bear in the gallery overnight.
Yeah, this was.
We don't need to talk about it for very long, but I love the concept.
I can talk about it for hours.
I'm sure.
But no, it was. In a sense, it's my favourite work because I was the work, and in a rather childish 3-year-old way, I finally got the attention I deserved.
I had to put on a bear suit to go to Berlin.
In a funny kind of way, I was kind of inside and outside the work at the same time, and so that was sort of, satisfying.
I joke about it, but of course the work has a huge number of resonances I should say, and it's called Sleeper. There's a whole idea of kind of sleeper cells of the Cold War, and the bear being the emblem of Berlin, but also being a symbol of Soviet power. I mean, there's a lot going on in this work, as always, with you.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
As well as that.
And as well, but in a way, it's all. I've got a lot of backstory for this, but I think in the end it was. I mean, the other thing I should say is, you've got to have a sort of intuition or a taste in your head. That's the thing that drives the work to its completion. So, for me, living in Berlin for a couple of years, driving past Mises building at night, there was just this dark, dank kind of glass box. I kind of thought, well, if that was just illuminated, there was just some human or animal presence in there after hours. So it was that inkling more, as much as something else.
We've got some images of State Britain, which, as I mentioned, was the project for which Mark won the Turner Prize, but actually we're being waved at to say that we have a huge amount of time left. So what I'd like to do is just move on to a more recent series of works. That's one, Anna, thank you, which are a series of self-portraits. I mean, coming back to that idea of you as the bear and you being in the artwork, and that was part of the excitement. I've rather loved this series of works that Mark made, called self-portraits, which are, as you can see, all the letter I, but written in different fonts and typographical, different typographical resonances. And I suppose this work feels to me very much like it's fed into quite a lot of the work that you've done in the last 3 or 4 years, which is, in a very oblique and in a way very depersonalised way, sort of putting yourself at the centre of the work. And there was another project which was, as I mentioned at the beginning, a series of maybe 2,000, more than 2,000?
2,600.
2,600 something bricks that Mark has literally marked with his mark all over the city, and then taken thousands of photographs and shown them as a slideshow. And as I said, it sort of fed into the design actually of the book. And there was a special edition made of the book as well, on which Mark, made his mark again with hand painting. I just wonder if you could tell us a little bit about how and why, in a way, you've, as I said, in a slightly more personalised way, come to be at the centre of this work.
Yeah, I suppose the self-portrait thing, I've painted self-portraits over the years, and the first time I was nominated for the Turner Prize, the last thing I think there was a self-portrait. But I suppose having a sort of wary relationship with painting, I've never quite bought into the mythology of it. So when Lucian Freud died, I remember in front of the independent newspaper there was this sort of made my head and a photograph of him, and I was thinking, I'll go with the photograph. And so I think I was in the spirit of but also just thinking about the first person and how we the I that we have as a sense of self, and then the I that we have as a sort of transactional way, and the I we can read first person narrative, but also the fact that we probably write more to each other than in any age since the epistolatory novel, really, with the amount of emails we do, and you know, one selects a font that seems to represent itself, or not, you know. So I think there's a sort of there's a new subjective relationship to that kind of thing. But it amused me that, you know, I in English is this one letter which has a certain, you know, stature and pomposity or simplicity, or, you know, there are different things. You know, am I a serif or a non-serif? You know, what kind of thing. So, and then I did one or two kind of freehand ones as well, just to kind of say a bit of expressionism or something, you know. So then I suppose Mark came out of, followed on from that. To begin with,
You resisted it? In a way, it's always
well, I mean, 52 years old. I mean, it took me 50 years to kind of make use of my name as a pun, which is a bit silly, really. It took that long, but anyway, it was, wasn't it? And I mean, originally it was, I was in the studio, and I was suddenly aware I had this group of objects that looked a bit like a genre piece to do with it in an artist's studio, and I just started writing my name in black marker pen on each of the objects, which satisfied something in me. And then I attached a string to each one of them to an eye on the wall at my sublime level. It became a sort of a three-dimensional drawing of a two-dimensional perspective drawing, and it became a sort of a sculpture about what we find satisfying about the scrutiny of a painting or a painter, which is that they've identified something, they've thought about it, they've tried to structure it, and there's certain scrutiny that they've noted. So that satisfied me. And then I did a piece called According to Mark, which was 100 different chairs in a sort of congregation, if you like, and each of the chairs was marked on the back of Mark, and then the string was all led up to a more transcendent eye in the sky kind of thing. So then that finally led on to this, which, so I just went around London with a piece of chalk and a camera, and Mark fitted within the dimensions of brick quite nicely, and I thought it was quite nice.
Your name wasn't Herodotus.
Yeah, exactly. I probably wouldn't be here at all. So I quite like that this was tagging, in a sense, and it was kind of my name, but it's not that unusual name. But it also has these other meanings. So it's the basic making of Mark, and also it's this rather pathetic assertion of individuality within. Yeah.
And then very, very quickly, we won't really say much about it, but just to point to the next project of the ever-prolific and ever-changing Mark Wallinger. Many of you, of course, will know that Mark won the commission for the Ebbsfleet landmark, about which more, I'm sure, in the coming months. But you've also got a ballet project coming up at Sadler's Wells in just 3 weeks' time, which is a new venture as well. And maybe just say something very briefly about that, and then we'll pass back to Anne.
There's a piece called Undance that I'm working on with Wayne McGregor and Mark Wallinger, which opens on Thursday week. Yeah.
And that is a new departure for you, isn't it? You've not been involved in performing arts and that sort of collaboration before.
No. So it's still not finished.
Well, good. You like things across the wire. But you think a new direction possibly for the future?
Well, I'm doing something with the Royal Ballet next summer, and
We'll watch this space. Thank you all very much for being so attentive.
I'd like to thank both Mark and Jacky for wonderful conversation. It's tantalising though, because I don't think I've ever been at an event like this with noise like that outside. It's definitely a first. And challenging. You've met the challenge really well. Thank you so much, both of you. Mark is going to be, because we don't have time for Q&A in this sort of scenario, so Mark is going to be signing some his books in the Foyle bookshop across the way, and they're being sold at a very generous 15% discount, I was told to say. And I, for one, will be going to get one. And I think I cannot stress, actually, genuinely, absolutely genuinely, this is such a scholarly and receptive reading of an artist's work, and clearly the investment that has gone into it has produced something which is going to be a real classic for us as teachers and for you as students. So I really genuinely mean that. And those of you who know me know I don't say that unless I really mean it. So thank you both very much indeed. And Mark will speak to you, answer those questions you're dying to ask, but only little short answers tonight, because I'm sure he wants to get on and listen to the music rather than put it. So thanks a lot.